Hi, I'm Kelly Dudzik. This week on News to Celebrate, students and staff at Starpoint Middle School come together to surprise a classmate with a special performance. Plus, one company is stepping up to help preserve history at the Buffalo and Erie County Naval and Military Park. And despite a heartbreaking Game 7 overtime loss in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, fans of the Buffalo Sabres are already looking forward with hope for next season. News to Celebrate this week starts now.
Sometimes you don't even have to look far.
We all really felt Eddie's journey when we heard it.
To find inspiration.
His story and the fact that he's so persevering and fighting and strong.
He fights on and keeps going and is so positive even through a tough time.
It's something easily seen in fourth grader Eddie Golden.
It feels awesome that I'm here and I made it this far.
Eddie was diagnosed with T-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia last April. Now 10 years old, he's in maintenance.
I just fight my hardest every day.
His strength inspiring students to perform this fight song at Starpoint Middle School.
So when you saw the performance on stage, what went through your mind?
How much love I get and everything.
A tribute built on Eddie Golden's resilience and courage.
He is such a strong trooper.
And a reminder.
Stay golden.
Just like Eddie Golden shines every day.
You may be used to seeing the large ship and the deck with those mounted guns and missiles, but below decks, there are the spaces where the crew of over 1,000 sailors worked, lived, and prepared for war if necessary, including the engineering area with the massive engines to power the propellers to move the ship. Another one of the primary spaces, which will also additionally be open to visitors on the ship's tour starting in June, is the Little Rock's Combat Information Center, where the crew in the Cold War nuclear weapons era of the 1960s and early 70s kept watch over the Soviet Navy and possible other enemy ships, as it was the flagship of the U.S. Navy's 6th Fleet.
As a flagship, it was critically important to our nation's defense and operations in the Mediterranean.
That's the place where the ship would have been fought from. So as we begin to get into these spaces, we can now share those stories in a way that's so much more compelling.
To actually illuminate these elements of history, National Grid signing up with its 9/11 Day of Service volunteer event for employees with their electrical system expertise for some heavy lifting, as they say.
When they came here, the first thing that we had to do was to get these transformers into those spaces, 5 decks below. Each one is about 400 pounds. Restoring and testing the wiring. These ships are 80 years old and we want to do everything as safely as we possibly can.
This Naval Park National Grid partnership also extended to helping restore the damaged USS the Sullivans after it started to flood and sink in 2022.
After we were able to recover her, there were areas of the ship that were considered unrestorable with relation to the electrical distribution systems. Lo and behold, National Grid helped us restore them, and now they're functioning.
It started out as a small idea, and then it grew to this large movement to do work here at the Naval Park.
For National Grid to play a small part in making sure that those ships are kept up in the condition that they need to be, it's been our honor.
Ron Plants, Channel 2 News.
Well, 10 unclaimed veterans will finally be laid to rest with full military honors this Memorial Day weekend. The Patriot Guard Riders of New York and local veterans groups are escorting the remains to the Western New York National Cemetery in Corfu. The veterans served in conflicts ranging from World War I to Vietnam. Organizers say some of the remains went unclaimed for more than 50 years.
We don't make any judgments as to why there are unclaimed remains. Just it should be known that they exist literally by the thousands. And our program works with funeral directors to help them identify who is in custodial care of unclaimed remains. And then we try to see if we can't match up a veteran status that then allows them to become eligible to be buried in a national cemetery.
Organizers say their goal is to make sure that no veteran is ever forgotten.
To really show how much you appreciate someone. On Zimmerman Road in Boston.
They do a lot and they give a lot.
Gratitude is being built by Decked Out WNY.
A blessing.
I'm kind of speechless.
Raymond Terry Mady, who also goes by Terry, served in the U.S. Army's 101st Airborne Division during the Vietnam War.
It's a great honor, it's a great honor being a vet.
I get teary-eyed because I know what he's gone through. So it's an honor.
An honor his wife Mary knows her humble husband deserves.
My husband, he thought, why am I getting it? There's probably more that are more worthy. But that's him. That's him. But I know what he's gone through, and I support Vietnam vets 100%. Because they've been ignored and mistreated in the past. So I just think this is wonderful.
For Pat Williams, the mission for Decked Out WNY is to give those who served our country the thank you many never got.
We can say we support, we can, even give some donations and support. That all helps. It's all good, but the more we get out there and we actually do something for these people, the better.
A simple act of kindness.
We used to sit in the garage every morning to have our coffee and look across, and they got a porch and they got a porch.
And soon, a porch Terry and Mary will have to enjoy for the rest of their lives.
So now we'll have our coffee out here.
The deck should be finished the day after Memorial Day. On your side in Boston, Courtney Courtwright, Channel 2 News.
Well, there's been plenty of construction happening down by KeyBank Center, which has led to the question about what's going on with the second floor of the DL&W station. The NFTA invited me to take a look and give me some timelines for their upcoming projects.
It's a historic old building, and whenever you open something up like that, you find surprises for sure. But we've been making steady progress.
Since opening the DL&W train station to the public in December, the NFTA has been pushing ahead with several major projects to transform the historic waterfront landmark. But as crews continue restoration work, they've also run into some unexpected roadblocks along the way.
We found as we were doing the design for the project that it's actually two separate buildings. The first and second floor are not really necessarily connected. So what that left us with is a lot of seismic and wind structural improvements that we didn't anticipate. And
those structural issues contributed to delays and also came as the NFTA parted ways with developer Sam Savarino last November. In a pre-development agreement, Savarino had proposed turning the second floor into a year-round market with restaurants and a small grocery store. Now the NFTA says it's moving forward with its own plans to develop the space.
It's an active construction site. We finished the station back in December and opened it to the public, but because of a number of other construction projects, it's closed right now.
Among the most anticipated of those projects is the Sky Bridge that will connect the station to KeyBank Center, allowing fans to travel from the Metro train directly into the arena. They expect it to be completed in the spring of 2027.
It's a direct connection from the second floor DL&W into the food court area in the back of the arena. So you'll come in, come right upstairs, and then the Sabres will be there taking your tickets just as you walk in. So it's going to be a fabulous, easy connection to the arena.
The next phase of the project also includes a new city viewing deck and stair tower, expected to open later this year. The space could eventually host events, green space, and even food trucks brought up by a special elevator.
People will be able to come up and see it in its kind of raw form, and then have a party on the outdoor deck. So we're excited about that, and then we're continuing to get ideas from everyone who comes up there about what's next.
The project also extends beyond the building itself. The NFTA is working to restore more than 1,200 feet of shoreline along the Buffalo River, while also moving the Empire State Trail and Riverwalk closer to the water.
So the Empire State Trail actually right now runs right on South Park. When we finish the shoreline, the Empire State Trail will be back on the shoreline trail over there. So we're shoring up the shoreline, adding some space for folks to walk and bike on that side.
The NFTA tells us that they hope to have the stair tower done by June, with this deck open by the end of August, and the Sky Bridge will be officially done in spring of 2027. On your side at the DL&W station, Natalie Foss, Channel 2 News.
What makes you hopeful?
We have a lot of good players, and our goalies are good, most of them.
Two on your side's Dave McKinley asking that question to then 10-year-old Charlie at the Sabres' last game of the 2024-25 regular season.
You've never seen the Sabres in a playoff, huh?
No.
But in Western New York, hope never disappears.
Could end the drought, you know. Other teams have done it too, so I mean, it's our time.
The Sabres opened this year's regular season with a 4-0 loss to the New York Rangers, a team searching for answers.
If you just got one, the game would have looked way different. Unfortunate, we learn from that and grow.
Trying to change the culture, both on the ice and off of it.
Really the big news, not just in Buffalo sports today, but really around the entire NHL.
The Sabres parted ways with general manager Kevin Adams in December and hire current GM Jarmo Kekalainen.
As I said, look at today, what can we do today to get better, to get the team there in the future, and you got to make the playoffs to get the chance to compete for the Stanley Cup.
The Sabres turned things around in the second half of the season.
I don't know what happened, mid-season. I don't know what Lindy said to the guys to get the spark going.
They climbed the standings to win the Atlantic Division for the first time in 16 years and broke a 14-season playoff drought, the longest active drought in the NHL.
You got to be proud of what you did and how hard you worked and the goal we set at the start of the year to be in the playoffs.
A lot of years of adversity, a lot of challenges, and I think that journey makes the destination feel that much better.
The return of playoff hockey uniting Western New York from the Buffalo Blade Gang to the Buffalo Sabre Blades.
From where we were to where we ended this season, I've never seen a team rise up like that. It was truly glorious.
The opening games of the Boston Bruins series to clinching the series in Game 6. Then, last night at KeyBank Center, a Game 7 overtime loss 3-2 to the Montreal Canadiens. But even when the stakes were highest, the team, just like the fans, never lost hope.
How fortunate can we possibly be, because we've made it so far in these playoffs and we put up a fight.
A season that reminded the hockey world what this sport means in Buffalo.
Mark Urbanski, I'm keeping your seat warm just temporarily. It's ready for pickup at the old Highmark Stadium. Hundreds of benches and other memorabilia. We went through the pickup process and met some of the people bringing home a piece of history.
The big day is here.
It is. In the shadow of the old Highmark Stadium sits the seats, no longer in the stands, but being packed up by Bills fans like Angie Schmitz.
It's bittersweet, but it's nice to have our little piece of the stadium to put on our deck at home.
One of thousands of pieces of nostalgia purchased through collectible exchange. From seat backs to bleachers, from section 125, row 20, seat 11 for Brian Hallbacker.
The famous spot to bang is the back of the bleacher right there.
Fans wanting to keep those sounds and sights of the Ralph alive before it goes to the graveyard.
The perfect game, the game against the Patriots, the freezing cold. All of our toes were purple, but we didn't care because it was one of the best days of our lives.
It's just sad to see it go, but so excited to get across. You want a piece of, those are the actual seats.
2 bleachers for Lori Bidding.
We're keeping one, and my son, he wanted one too, so he's getting the row 9 one behind us. He's down in Charleston, he's active duty military, but he's gonna have that forever too.
2 seat backs for Brian Collern.
We have tickets in the new stadium, but it's still a little nostalgic about the old.
The precious cargo ready for pickup with 500 to 800 orders being filled each week. The pace picking up with the goal of having it all gone by mid-June, as long as people are showing up.
There's a lot of memories, in this stadium over the years, but, we're hoping for a lot of great new memories in the new stadium.
The story of stadium succession, only a few weeks away. On your side in Orchard Park, Rob Hackford, Channel 2 News.
Minority and women-owned businesses are being celebrated in Orchard Park as the new Highmark Stadium construction site exceeded expectations when it comes to the community benefits agreement.
More than $490 million were dispersed to participating minority and women-owned contractors and businesses. The governor's office says this represents the largest participation by MWBE firms for any public-private project in Western New York's history. A sales representative for Buffalo Concrete, a women-owned company, says it helps supply the stadium with materials. She says she's encouraged by women's participation in this project and others across Western New York.
When I first started construction and selling on outside sales, there wasn't a lot of women in the field, and it's grown, so it's really great. I like to see more women in the field, and it's just been a great opportunity. Long term, this will always be here. We're Bills fans, right? And it's great to be a part of building this.
A lot of times, companies will not hire minority-owned businesses. So when you do that, it helps the people in the community get jobs. If you don't bring that economic development back to small firms.
Contractors say working here at the new Highmark Stadium is an incredible opportunity that will allow them to work on other projects here in Western New York. On your side in Orchard Park, Chelsea Swift, Channel 2 News.
I need a spotter for this. So look at these. These are real bagels, folks. These are not the corporate bagels you get from the corner coffee shop. These are the real deal, made by a man and a daughter with a passion for bagels and a passion for the city of Lockport. They've created an amazing space here, and if you go to the Facebook page, I recommend it. You'll see pictures of bagels and locks, L-O-C-K-S, because here we are. Right on the banks, the shores, next to the Lockport locks, of course, on the historic Erie Canal. So this is B&D, and I'm going to have you tell the story again. The B and the D, but your real name is Maybelle and Frank. Where'd that come from?
So when I was little, we were hanging out at home, and I couldn't say Dad, so I said D, and then he started calling me B.
Oh, perfect.
And that's how this thing was made.
What's your favorite part about this whole shop?
I just like kind of vibing with everybody. It's fun.
Absolutely. And thank you very much. You've created a vibe here. And you want to create a space for the city.
Yeah, we do. I think that Lockport is a beautiful community. And I think it's hard maybe to see when you're from here, you know? It's tough to see. When you come from a different town, moved from Denver, and came to Lockport, I just realized how beautiful the town was and how strong the community is, and everyone's in it together. I really like that.
A fantastic cup of coffee, huge bagels, and you've created a space here for musicians and for local merchants.
Yes, we have the co-op here where people are able to rent a spot, sell all their goods. My daughter's band, the Cactuses, will play here. We have poetry open mics the third Saturday of every month, and then we have and every other Saturday we have an open jam where anybody who has an instrument or a desire to be heard singing, they can come in and play music with a full band behind them.
We talked about this off the air too, as a girl dad too. You know, it's just nice nice to hear music and be able to bring your kids there.
All ages, family friendly. All the kids can play music and have fun. Hop right on the drums or whatever.
21 Main Street is where we are, right by the historic Erie Canal. On your side in the city of Lockport, I'm Kevin O'Neill, Channel 2 News.
Hey there, well, you're looking at a new set of wheels for the entire East Side community. It's one of 3 all-new electric vehicles. The 3 electric vehicles are part of Light City Car Share, an all-electric car sharing program aimed at expanding affordable transportation access and reducing transportation barriers that organizers say can limit access to jobs, education, and health care. Once you download the ZEV app and go through orientation, you can find a day to rent a car for $5 an hour or for $40 for the whole day. Organizers say the program was shaped by community feedback and a $10 million grant from the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority.
We listened, we researched models from across the country, and we regrouped, we rethought, and we really recommitted to trying to get this right. And so that persistence paid off, and that's why we're here today. There are a lot of things that you just can't reach in Buffalo just because it doesn't have access via the transit system, and we're really hoping to bridge those gaps. Each car is at a different location. One is located in the parking lot at the Buffalo Center for Arts and Technology, another at True Bethel Baptist Church, and the last one at the Tri-Main Center. And you could take this set of wheels out for a drive today. All you have to do is download the ZEV app and plug in your information, and you go from there. On your side, Alyssa Clauzel, Channel 2 News.
And so many finishing touches are coming together outside the new Bills Stadium. Take a look at these new photos the team released of a new mini field taking shape right outside the new Highmark. The Bills say the space will give fans another place to gather and take in the game day experience. And Bills QB1 Josh Allen is celebrating his 30th birthday by giving back to some very special Western New York families. Josh and New Era announced a special limited edition illustration recap. The hat combines all 9 designs created by patients at Golisano Children's Hospital that Josh wore during Bills home games last season. The caps will sell for just over $50, with proceeds benefiting the Patricia Allen Foundation. The New Era also presented a check for more than $140,000. The money was raised through the Billustration campaign, helping support children and families across our region. First Ride for Roswell is returning for its 31st year, bringing thousands of cyclists together to support cancer research and patient care at Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center. It's an event Channel 2 is proud to be part of once again, and it all takes place June 26th and 27th with 9 routes across Western New York, including a new route through Niagara Falls State Park. So joining us now is Andrea Gregory, director of the Ride for Roswell. Thank you for being here on Most Buffalo.
Thanks for having me.
So we're just a little more than a month away from Ride Weekend. It's such a huge event. What makes this year special or maybe different from years past?
Yeah, so every year we're super fortunate. We have community support far and wide. And so last year was the big 30th anniversary. Now, as we look towards years 31 and 32, we are closing in on cumulatively raising over $100 million.
Wow.
So that's a huge thing we're working towards right now. And we have that new route that you mentioned up to Niagara Falls, which people are really excited about.
There has been a lot of scientific research that's been possible thanks to all the millions of dollars that have been raised for Roswell through the Ride for Roswell. So what kind of research does this help fund?
Yeah, so the Ride for Roswell is really unrestricted dollars. So that means it's going towards the most pressing needs of the hospital. And some things are, I always like to say it's kind of helping the patients of today and tomorrow. So it's helping with quality of life programs of the patients that are currently going through our doors, but there's also the clinical trials and all the research that's being done. One of the really interesting things that we do fund is what's called seed research. And so we are getting the ideas that our researchers have up and off the ground so that they can take those dollars and make them more. And so we are helping them get the idea off the ground. They go to larger bodies like the National Institute of Health, and every dollar we put towards that, it multiplies by 20. And so the ride is just so much more than just the dollars coming in through the door. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, like a snowball effect.
That's awesome. And it's also the ride. So if somebody does not have a lot of cycling experience, or they're worried maybe they're not in shape because they spent the winter not working out, what kinds of activities can they do? And also, like, anybody can do it, right? You don't have to be a professional cyclist to do this.
Correct. There's no timing, there's nothing like that. So like you said, we have 9 routes, and so the shortest distance is 4 miles. So it's our
doable.
Family. Absolutely. We have 10, 20, 30, we go all the way up to 100. I have young kids, and they always do the 10 and they want to venture to the 20. So there's definitely an opportunity for everyone to get involved. And even if you can't be there on Ride Weekend, we have people that ride from far and wide to be a part of the efforts.
Do you need more volunteers?
We always need more volunteers.
And that's news to celebrate this week, where the stories bringing Western New York together are always worth cheering for. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.